Dr. Fauci has been attempting to be diplomatic in his dealings with a Trump administration that constantly undermines and ridicules him and his basic scientific advice, but he decided to get a little bit more candid about his opinions on Trump's actions this morning on CBS.
But it is a very political climate, as you know. The president continues to hold these massive rallies where people are not wearing masks, including the president himself. When you see that, what do you think? Is it frustrating to you as an expert on this?
Well, yes, it is, and I've said that often. That situation is we want to set an example because we know that when you do 4 or 5 typical kind of public health measures, masks, physical distance, avoiding crowds, making sure you do most things outdoors versus indoors, those are the kind of things that turn around surges and also prevent us from getting surges. So I certainly would like to see a universal wearing of masks.
Dr. Fauci, really good to see you. Thank you so much. Stay safe, stay sane. We'll see you next time.
That's probably as intense and critical as you're going to get from Dr. Fauci. Trump's still technically his boss, which is crazy, but Fauci's not going to let that get in the way of providing important public health information. Trump keeps criticizing Fauci publicly as if he has no control over his employment, as if Fauci's just a Democratic representative from some county in Minnesota or some district. No, you're his boss. You could get rid of him, but he wants to publicly humiliate him so he'll leave and so that science won't enter the minds of anyone in the administration anymore. But Fauci's like, no, I'm in this to inform people, so you're not going to bully me into leaving this post I've had for decades. I'm here to save lives. And so, anyway, the Trump rally he just had in North Carolina was absurd. I think Good Morning America showed images of that there. Was that Good Morning America? Yeah, the CBS show. And so there were tons of people packed, no masks, and even the Republican politicians in North Carolina told him to wear a mask and said, no, this rally violates our social distancing guidelines. And he did it anyway. So the states' rights Republicans tried to assert their power, and the big bad federal government led by Trump just bulldozed over them. So what happened to that states' rights Republicans? I'm not hearing much from them. A packed crowd gathered in North Carolina for a Donald Trump campaign rally on Tuesday, with many people foregoing masks in defiance of state guidelines capping gatherings at 50 people. Ahead of the president's visit to Winston-Salem, the chair of the local county commission, a Republican, urged Trump to wear a face mask. The state has a mask requirement in place to slow the spread of coronavirus. However, Trump did not wear a mask and used the event to mock his Democratic opponent, Joe Biden, for following social distancing guidelines. You ever see the gym with the circles, he said, in apparent reference to a Biden event held in a school gymnasium with attendees observing social distancing guidelines. There have been more than 6.3 million cases of coronavirus in the U.S., with the country approaching 190,000 deaths. Trump's rally comes as health experts warn the hunt for a vaccine has become increasingly politicized, with the Trump administration rushing to release one ahead of the November election. Deriding the mass demonstrations across the country against racism and policing, Trump told the jam-packed, cheering crowd, "We decided to call our rallies peaceful protests." The president has previously used the phrase to describe gatherings of his supporters, saying if protesters against police brutality are allowed to gather, then his supporters should be able to as well. The difference is that protesting is often organic, not pre-planned by the president, who is supposed to represent everybody and be concerned about the health and safety of all Americans. Protesting is also a fundamental First Amendment right, whereas gathering together for everyone to feel sexually attracted to their dear leader, Trump, that's not in the Constitution. Okay. Wear a mask, please.